What is your naughtiest secret? I was 20 and I had my dream job, had my own 2-bedroom apartment. I was earning good money and I was treating myself. The only thing I didn't have that time was a man. I was feeling so lonely and I was having zero sex. I stayed sexless for over a year and I was going crazy. I used to go out with different men, but we never got intimate. I did have a boyfriend before this happened. I got to a breakdown point and I really wanted to just get fucked, so I hired a man who would regularly give me sex. Every week, I was paying him per hour and I was the one paying hotels, drinks, etc. This happened for a while and I was enjoying it because he made me feel good. We never met at my apartment as I decided to keep it private. I never got to know any private details about his life. I just knew he had a daughter and never knew his age. He looked like 35. Anyway, after a while I started to have feelings for him and it and there. I changed my email and my number and never heard of him again. So yeah, I did pay for sex and hired that man to please me at just 20 years old. After I stopped seeing him, I started to feel lonely again and I just got back to meet men that I was previously meeting. It was 4 different men that I used to meet and I wanted just sex, so I was meeting them in different occasions. One of them had a passion to always eat in restaurants, so I didn't mind. Other, he enjoyed cinema. Other one used to pick me from home and take me to visit places. We used to drive for hours and spend 2-3 days at the place we would visit. Other one used to always buy me so many gifts. They were all rich. One of them is internationally known as athlete. None of them were married, neither divorced or children, and we would share conversation about our life. I felt comfortable with all of them and they never found out about each other. This went on for 3 years, but one of them fell in love with me, so it ended there. The other one had to move because of his career and had to travel. One became very obsessive and would wait for me at my place of work, and it ended, and other one got a girlfriend. Soon after that I got into relationship with a guy from work but didn't work out. 2 years fast forward, I met my now husband and been together ever since, and we have a little baby. I had a gay hookup 7 years ago and I regret not experimenting more before I met my wife. She doesn't know. It was early college and there was a girl I was crushing on from church who died a BF. But I found her super attractive and we talked every day. She's sort of the dense type, so I could never be sure she was tossing me hints on purpose or if she was just ditzy. I knew this, but she hung out with me all the time and was around 17 or 18 at the time. I invited her over to watch a movie and spend the night once at college and she said okay. When we were watching movies, we had some drinks and I noticed her take some Benadryl for her allergies, so I deliberately made her drink a bit stronger than mine. She got sleepy about halfway through the next movie and told me to help her get changed and that we should go to sleep. I asked if she was sure and she said yes. So I actually had to help her take off her clothes and get changed into a set of my pajamas. Obviously, I also only had one small bed and I was aroused by then. I don't know what I was thinking, but I couldn't resist but move my knees between her legs and start grinding it against her pussy when I thought she was asleep. She started letting out these soft and very arousing moans and whispered, "That's good. Keep going." The sound of her moan is forever burned into my mind. She eventually came. She started trembling and I couldn't resist but reach my hand down. She was so wet. I lost myself at that point and stripped off her panties and started eating her out. Her pussy lips down there were dark and her inside was so pink and tight, with very little hair. I could tell she shaved. It was only my second time seeing a girl's parts in person and she looked so inviting down there. I stuck my finger in slowly, then started eating her again and she came again with creamy stuff on my fingers. We then went to sleep due to the alcohol taking hold. When we woke up, she acted like nothing happened, so I thought she didn't remember due to mixing the Benadryl and alcohol. Years later, I found out from her best friend she did remember and wished I went further. I still masturbate to this memory sometimes, I am ashamed to say, even though I'm engaged now. But I can't help it. I had a girlfriend who was raped by 2 guys I went to church with. Yeah, it took her forever to reveal that to me. She was a slut in hip school, in her words, not mine. But she slept with whomever she wanted to sleep, not just any guy. This is an incident when I was in class 4th. At that time our teachers used to make our seating arrangements and on each desk, there used to be a boy and a girl. On one fine day, I don't remember exactly which lecture was going on. I was a good student and I used to listen to lectures very carefully and quickly grasp the knowledge. So, the teacher was teaching and as usual I was listening. Suddenly, I don't know what happened to me but I farted in the class and the noise was very clear to be heard to nearby desks. I really don't know why I wasn't able to control it. It just happened. Everyone in the class started laughing and I was getting embarrassed. But soon my embarrassment got over because everyone thought it was my benchmate, the boy, who did that. Typical thinking was, a girl can never do that. Only that boy and the person behind me knew that it was me but no one believed them. Even I told everyone confidently that it was not me, but my benchmate. The whole blame was put on him and I was saved. If you have read my other post, you know I had a sexual intercourse with Claudia, my friend's sister. See my other post for detail. My naughtiest secret is when I had sex with her in a nearby school. We were hanging out, and she asked me if I still had her bras and panties. See my other post. I laughed and told her yes. We talked about relationships and sex. Then she asked me if I wanted to have fun. I was thrilled. I had not seen her naked in a long time. I agreed, and we went to a basketball court at the end of the school. It was Sunday, and nobody was there. She undressed, and I just watched. When she was done undressing, she tried to shoot a hoop with her clothes, only to fail. We laughed. She was so extremely hot. I also took my clothes off, and there was no stopping. Despite the fact that anybody might come and see us, I kissed her and we sat down. I could see her perfect tits, which were round and soft. I grabbed her boobs and gave it a squish. She laughed. She played with my dick while I rubbed her boobs. She asked me to have sex but I said no. I did not want to be a father when I was 13. Instead I shoved my fingers down her hairy pussy, causing her to groan. She massaged my dick until my small dick started to come, and she swallowed most of it. We played like that for a while and soon cleaned up. This was my second sexual intercourse with Claudia and also the most dangerous. All the other we did either in her or my room. This was only time we did it in public. So, the other day I was shaving my privates. I am a 21-year-old girl. I prefer to do it when I am alone at home. I like it so much and I always get wet blushes. I remember watching a few YouTube videos related to tips and hacks for the same. In it, they told that it's very helpful to first moisturize so the hair becomes softer and can easily be clean shaved. So, I used an oil for the same. Yes, it did help but the hair did not flush off even after multiple attempts. I even tried filling the buckets and throwing it to increase the force and pressure. But it didn't work since they had an oil coat on them and oil floats on water. #science. When I realized this scientific fact, I remembered another one that soap traps oil and it will separate oil from hair. So, I mixed shampoo, since it produces a lot of lather, in a mug of water, threw it in the toilet and I am glad it worked. I had to flush in my floating hair and my parents would be home anytime. It would have been so awkward then. I thanked science and my presence of mind. It was such an awkward and funny experience. I was 20 and I had my dream job, had my own two-bedroom apartment. I was earning good money and I was treating myself. The only thing I didn't have that time was a man. I was feeling so lonely and I was having zero sex. I stayed sexless for over a year and I was going crazy. I used to go out with different men, but we never got intimate. I did have a boyfriend before this happened. I got to a breakdown point and I really wanted to just get fucked, so I hired a man who would regularly give me sex. Every week, I was paying him per hour and I was the one paying hotels, drinks, etc. This happened for a while and I was enjoying it because he made me feel good. We never met at my apartment as I decided to keep it private. I never got to know any private details about his life. I just knew he had a daughter and never knew his age. He looked like 35. Anyway, after a while I started to have feelings for him and it and there. I changed my email and my number and never heard of him again. So yeah, I did pay for sex and hired that man to please me at just 20 years old. After I stopped seeing him I started to feel lonely again and I just got back to meet men that I was previously meeting. It was 4 different men that I used to meet and I wanted just sex, so I was meeting them in different occasions. One of them had a passion to always eat in restaurants, so I didn't mind. Other, he enjoyed cinema. Other one used to pick me from home and take me to visit places. We used to drive for hours and spend 2-3 days at the place we would visit. Other one used to always buy me so many gifts. They were all rich, One of them is internationally known as athlete. None of them were married, neither divorced or children, and we would share conversation about our life. I felt comfortable with all of them and they never found out about each other. This went on for 3 years, but one of them fell in love with me, so it ended there. The other one had to move because of his career and had to travel. One became very obsessive and would wait for me at my place of work, and it ended, and other one got a girlfriend. Soon after that I got into relationship with a guy from work but didn't work out. 2 years fast forward, I met my now husband and been together ever since, and we have a little baby. My secret is I love wearing butt plugs in public, and it turns me on that nobody knows. I remember when I first tried a butt plug. I slid it in and did mundane tasks around my house and I loved it. The constant pressure of being full and the thrusting feeling with every step set me over the edge. None of my roommates were home at the time, which was disappointing. They don't know how much of a secret slut I am, and it would have been so much fun to have my ass filled without their knowledge. My plug was on the small side, but I ended up getting an anal training kit with different sizes. It was fun experimenting the different sizes. I am very promiscuous and it doesn't bother me at all. I'm a 40-year-old black man and I can't seem to control my libido. I'm very open-minded, have done almost every sexual act there is. I have 3 different women coming over to my place this week for chat and sexy time. Also chatting to a friend for a weekend hookup. Why doesn't it bother me? Because I'm single. So I'm not cheating on anyone. My conscience is free and I don't have to sneak around behind someone's back. I always let my partners know I'm not looking for anything permanent. Just friendship, companionship, laughs and lots of sex. It's interesting how women respond to it. They love the honesty because they know what to expect. I always use protection and test regularly for diseases. I don't trust my partners and I'm sure they don't trust me either, so I take necessary precautions to protect them and myself. When I was much younger I always thought that sexual desire diminishes when you get to your 40s. Now that I'm in my 40s, I'm just as horny as I always was, with the added benefits of being more relaxed, confident, mature, sexually experienced and financially stable. My worry is if I'll be able to settle down to a monogamous relationship, and also, after sleeping with many women cheating on their partners, I wonder whether monogamy is vastly overrated and what really is the point of relationships. This is an incident when I was in class 4th. At that time our teachers used to make our seating arrangements, and on each desk, there used to be a boy and a girl. On one good time, I do not keep in mind exactly which lecture ended up being going on. I became a good student and I also used to listen to lectures very carefully and rapidly grasp the data. So, the instructor ended up being teaching, and as usual I was paying attention. Abruptly, I don't know what happened to me, but I farted inside class as well as the sound was clear as heard to nearby desks. I truly don't know why I happened to be able to get a handle on it. It just happened. Everyone in the class began laughing and I had been getting embarrassed. But soon my embarrassment got more than because everybody believed it absolutely was my workbench spouse, the child, which at that typical reasoning had been, a girl can never do that. Just that boy together with person behind me personally understood that it was me personally, but no one believed them. Also we informed everyone else with confidence it was maybe not me personally, but my benchmate. The complete blame had been where him, and I ended up being saved. Well, I'm Dave. I have so many stories like that one. I guess one of my favorites has got to be when the waitress from the steakhouse over here in Tennessee followed me out to my car after I was in there having dinner and never knew her name, but in the restaurant she was asking me if I wanted extra tea. Would you like more tea, sir? And she was real good about keeping my glass full eyes too after my steak and everything. I went out to my car while I was parked in the back corner of the building. Actually it was a Western sizzling steakhouse and the waitress was about 10 paces behind me. I get in my car, she walks around, taps on the passenger side window. I'll reach over and unlock the door. She sits down. At this point she still hasn't told me her name and I didn't ask. She had undone here red top that wore a red shirt and a black skirt. The waitress did. She had unbuttoned her red top about 2-3 buttons. I couldn't tell, it was kind of dark in my car, and she pulled her shirt partially apart and said, "Do you like these? Do you think these are nice?" And I think they're beautiful. Still no name. She said, "Well, why don't you touch him and tell me honestly what you think?" So she reaches across, grasps my right hand. I'm sitting behind her. driver seat, driver steering wheel, and gently puts on her right breast, and I said yes, they're extraordinary, which they were, and she said, well, I thought you were really cute, I just wanted to get your opinion on that. She bought me a shirt, back up and stood up and walked back away towards the restaurant. I said, hey wait, my new turnaround came back to my car and the rest of your imagination, but it actually happened, all of it and more. Best evening ever. Some year before I had my own cries about my photography. When I started photography, earning more and more. Usually get more order for the shoot. After some months the all is going good, and at the moment I have a call from the girl to have a pics of her college group. I used to take that order and the location was said. Went to there, started my section. It's all about 2 hours. The hot girls, and in that one girl has come in the Punjabi look. The beauty of the girl is world-blowing. Completed my selection, share the pic and money, and then I move on to my home. After some hour, that Punjabi blowing girl called me and asking for the private pics, but is my policy. I have rejected her. After that she offered me more money for the click. Then done with the order, the destination was her home. My god, the house looks like a film city, and when I asked her for the click, the house should be empty, she said that don't be shy, no one in the house. After that, she went her bedroom for makeup and changing, and after some time when she came back, she looked like a bomber with the sexy figure and sexy body. She has only wearing her for the selection, because once the picture in that only, I have never seen like that figure, but is like deal. I have started the section done with, and I transferring the click to her laptop. At that moment she bring me some homemade breakfast. She said that the breakfast was made by her. I can't understand, his sexy girl can cook also, can't believe, but that's the fact. Even she has a sexy figure and cooking since. I have become a fan of her cooking. After that I have gone much time to take her clicks and much more time. She looks more sexy. But we never try to have a fan because she only likes pics and she behaves like a simple girl. She does not have any boyfriend. We usually share everything at the time of the section. That's all. This happened at the locker room of my club. My locker number was 45, and apparently I have another locker at work with number 54 at Clubhouse. While going to swim, I put all my belonging in locker 54 and not 45. You might think how it happened. So the guy who was assigned this locker was present at club and had gone out to change, keeping his locker open. I came back post-changing and stuffed all my belonging in locker 54 before going to swim. I closed the locker door and went out. We aren't supposed to lock it while going to swim. Suddenly after some time I heard announcement of my name as my aid was placed in locker to report at reception. I came back and whistle red when I understood what happened. And there were a lot of my stuff which I don't reveal to unknown people, ESP. Men. I was so embarrassed that I reduced going to club for few weeks. I am a married man. I am straight Indian man. I am very experimental in sex, but my wife is not. I love wearing female underwear from a long time. I am thinking about buying one, but I was shy to tell this to my wife. And one day we were in market buying some panties for her, and there I spotted a good one. It's cotton panty with thick strap but beautifully laced on the edges. I loved it. I said buy this, and many more she bought, and then when we reached home I said this one I am keeping, and then she was stoned for a moment and then I tried. Now I am enjoying that underwear. In future I am planning many more. Actually I do have a bunch of them. I lost my virginity when I was 17. Okay. I know that it is not common, but I don't regret. I have been laid with almost 13-15 guys. I like dating strangers and being intimate with them. But not getting laid, obviously. I hit my class teacher on his balls while he was trying to grab my breast when I was in 9th standard. I still can remember his weird face, smile. P.S. Don't judge me based on my dirtiest secrets. I am a lot more than this. I really want to be a prostitute. I want to be used and abused. Made to beg. Be entirely dependent on someone for money. I'm a very submissive, sexual 16-year-old girl. However, I'm a huge brat and I don't know how to initiate sex. Therefore, if someone were to pay, they'd be doing the work. I also need a bit of violence or punishment, because as I said, I'm bratty. I can act up a bit, but a quick smack would put me back in my place. Despite being actually raped before, I'd like to be forced into doing things sexually. I enjoy teasing, but I can be too scared to actually give the thing I'm teasing. However, the chances of me having confidence to become a prostitute are low. At the very most, I guess I'd do some video stuff to help pay for university, which I've been doing since I was 14. If I couldn't be a prostitute, I'd love to be in a relationship where I'm owned. I need to be dependent on someone. I grew up as a church boy and have been in church all my life. All my life there was a certain lifestyle expected of me, and I tried, by all means, to live up to that standard. Life had bitten me down so much, and all my dreams were shattered. It had become difficult for me to believe in God. I felt He had abandoned me, so it was time for me to live a life that would make me survive in the world. All around me everyone was prospering whilst they lived what I considered a sinful life whilst I tried to be a good boy. So I decided to join my friends, using their weakness to my advantage. My friends liked partying, girls and drinking. Because I worked with them, it became hard for me to resist their invitation, and now I had become a backslidden Christian, it became easier to join them. I pretended I was still a Christian, just hanging out with my friends, so I didn't fully indulge in the drinking and womanizing, but started pimping out girls I knew were desperate and liked the partying life. I would tell the girls that I found easy guys to take care of their needs, but they had to share with me the cash they received from the boys. I taught them how to ask money without acting like a gold digger. To my friends, I was just a good friend, hooking them up with beautiful, nice girls, but I also asked them to give me money to spend whilst they enjoyed a good time with the ladies. This was my secret to give me money to try and catch up with those I thought were making it in life: fashion, nice cars and partying. My uncle and aunt molested me from 9 till they divorced when I was 15. I loved it. Him coming on me. And when he was at work we would have sex all day. Me and the babysitter's son from 5 or 6 years of age would have sex with his sister, who was already a teenager. We played with each other and his female cousins our age. As teenagers we were sexual beasts. His girlfriend was over one weekend, and we were drinking. About 6 of us boys took turns with her and her friend. My second spouse was a freak, and I liked sex together with her and hundreds of men, including the woman half-brother and parent plus 3 male cousins, and sex together with her mommy and stepfather. After that, this lady 2 aunts. We liked everything. The actual treat ended up being whenever her 16-year-old sis along with her boyfriend asked to watch United States of Sex, which generated more. I am a deviant. My naughty little secret is I love anal masturbation, sex, even as kissing, licking and tongue fucking. But absolute must be cleaned not once but repeatedly, to ensure no real nastiness does occur. I fought with these feelings since I was a very young child, didn't want to be gay, and I really wasn't attracted to men, but this craving that my ass would have to be penetrated was cray. I was working on a ranch and the vet was taking sperm samples from one of the bulls. We get the bull in the chute and the vet takes a stringer that vibrates cement and puts it up the bull's butthole and turns it on. The bull almost tore up the chute as he came all over everything and everyone that was within 15 feet of the chute. Then I knew that there is something else to what I was feeling. That's when I started my ass playing, have done a lot of studying on it, and have found that men have 1,000 more nerve ends there than women. I'm still ashamed of myself, try my best to keep it from everyone.